Howdy, you two. We are here with background NPC. This is going to be our last react for the day. It's almost 8 o'clock, and I need to go get ready for bed. I got to work in the morning. This can't be real. I don't know what this is about. And I forgot what the thumbnail was because it's been a couple hours since I saw it. So I guess we're going to find out together what this is. We love our girl B with a background BrNPC.
Do you ever tell yourself something you really want to be true? Like, I am sticking with the workout this time. I am finishing this game
Oh, I think we all have. That's just the human experience.
before I start another one. I am going to put out a video every single week.
I am going to play this Pokemon game all the way through and not get bored or distracted a little ways in. I'm going to do my first Nuzlocke. I'm going to do more reacts. I'm going to remember to tweet that I am live, which I forgot to do today. I suck.
Well, the people making our games have gotten really good at it too. Like Insomniac saying internet memes and criticism surrounding Wolverine have been a relentless onslaught. Bethesda protesters saying, but
Honestly, the guy on the far left, actually, some of these guys look like people that I would trust to make a game. They look like just like dudes who play video games their entire life. Two of these girls look like they would play video games their entire life. Everyone else, boy and girl, would not trust. Microsoft runs on layoffs. Well, I wish. Maybe we would have got some good games out of you guys. Knock it off. No layoffs. That's not how this works. Save our devs. Whose devs? Your devs? Your devs haven't turned out a good game in decades. Oh, wait. Oh, crap. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. BrNPC. Okay, we're good. Sorry, Queen.
Halo devs stating Halo Campaign Evolved had a successful launch. If the last
Did it though? Because it felt like a lot of people hated it.
decade has taught us anything, it is that there is an increasingly bizarre disconnect between so many of these AAA studios and the people buying their games, between executives and their own studios, between journalists and players, between what the industry says is true and what is very obviously actual.
Yeah, the industry is never true about anything. They cannot be honest to save their lives because too many investors. If a lot of these companies went private, we might get better games.
Reality. Because while we are getting LinkedIn post after LinkedIn post about layoffs, even from people who just shipped a self-proclaimed successful game,
You know, if they had spent less time putting those signs and all those little flags out there, they probably could have made some progress on a good game.
I'm also watching players post celebrations
Microsoft runs on profit. Yeah, that's how companies work.
about those same layoffs, some of them with millions of views. Gamers have spent years feeling like they were
I'm sorry. The people at Bethesda deserve this more than almost anybody. They have put out, what, like 2 garbage games in God knows how long. The last game they did before that was Fallout 4, which was meh. It was mediocre. Don't get me wrong. It looked and played great, but the story and writing were so boring. Jesus Christ. Like, they can't do anything right.
yelling at a wall, watching their hobby get more expensive in every way, watching their favorite franchises get worse, watching quality continue to drop, while everyone inside these companies kept insisting things were going great. And at the same time,
Well, yeah, they got to keep their jobs. If you, this was one thing I will not fault them for. And any person in this room would lie to keep their job.
Western AAA has spent years getting insulated from reality, from its customers, from any real criticism, and eventually from its own failures. And while 2026 may be the year of the horse for China, it is the year
I
of
forgot
the
it was
shed
the year
for
of the
gamers.
horse.
And more importantly, it is the year the market has finally stopped letting everybody play pretend. But before we get into all of that, it is really great to be back. I hope you've been having a great summer. I know I disappeared again. I am so sorry. There were some side quests I had to go take care of, and as penance, please accept this picture of my dogs. But a lot has
Pretty dogs! Also, side quests. Those can be the most fun.
happened
Actually, it's been my experience the side quests are the most fun.
over the past month, so let's do a super quick catch up first. GTA 6 is coming to Netflix. The
Yeah. It's going to launch in a couple months. Still no gameplay. Do you think that the Netflix thing is going to be gameplay, or is it just going to like do inside stuff? Because that's going to be a huge upset for everyone. Because this extended look does not promise gameplay.
extended preview of the game, that is, I'll be honest, I didn't even realize we could reach this level of advertising, and it means that there are people out there right now paying for a subscription specifically to watch a GTA 6 ad. Yeah.
Me when bro
Well,
wants my Netflix login for the GTA. I don't know anybody with Netflix. I wouldn't do it anyway, but I don't know a single person who has Netflix.
but we also got more info on Kingdom Hearts 4, including its launch window of
I did not look that up. I honestly don't care. Kingdom Hearts 3 was but I feel like it strayed too far from what like the charm that the first two had. Because let's face it, there's way too many Kingdom Hearts, and they cannot keep any of it straight, and they're just making things up as they go. But like the further away they get from like child Sora hanging out with Disney characters, the less Kingdom Hearts it feels.
late 2027. I'm pretty excited for this, I won't lie. I had a lot of the Kingdom Hearts games on my old PlayStation consoles, but I have since sold them all. So I did the only reasonable thing, and I just bought the main trilogy on.
I still have the first two games, and I think Chain of Memories. Was Chain of Memories on PlayStation 2? Because I have them for PlayStation 2, if it is. And I have 258 by blah 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 days for like DS or whatever. Never played it.
Steam, which is only like $30 for all three right now. I'm actually pretty excited to play all of them again, including Kingdom Hearts 3, which, you know what they say, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. Swords and Slippers and Knight's Path.
See, it sounds like she agrees with me on Kingdom Hearts 3. See, Swords and Slippers, I'm not really into fighting games, but honestly, I'd get that just to support them. And it looks like they have a Little Red Riding Hood thing, and I got a thing for girls dressed like Little Red Riding Hood.
Are back on my timeline with one of the female characters being described as Porny. And if you guessed
What?
it was the fully clothed medieval maiden with a little bit of cleavage standing there with her cat, you would be correct. Now, I don't think either of these characters could be described as Porny, whatever that means, but
To rally just a girl? What? Terribly? What? I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
these devs do know exactly who they are building for, and they are not interested in being bullied into building for anything else. The war on pretty female characters rages on, so thank you to the devs fighting the good fight. Speaking of which, we got more Tides of Annihilation. The combat in this game continues to look really fun.
I have no idea what that is. I've not even heard of that.
Gwendolyn is looking a little bit different this time around, but still absolutely stunning. And now there is some speculation that Angela Sandobuano may be stepping in for Jennifer English as her new voice actress, which, if that ends up being true, that'll do, pig. That'll do. Unfortunately, not every upcoming game has
I think a lot of people are suckers for Jennifer English right now. She's big. She's doing good things. And she keeps picking great characters, too.
been having quite the same effect, which brings us to Wolverine. So for weeks now, we've been getting more and more Wolverine content as the game gets closer to release, and I'll be honest, this was never really a game for me.
Me either.
Alright, and
Me
the
either.
more that I have seen of it, the less interested I have become.
Honestly, yeah, me too. Like, initially, I was like, oh, that looks cool. But the more I see it, the more ugh, this looks terrible. It's like they don't understand the comics at all.
It appears some of the internet may feel that way too now, and Insomniac has gone on the record about it.
It's a relentless onslaught as Marvel's Wolverine faces backlash. Insomniac community lead calls out social media algorithms while pushing negativity.
Their community and marketing director posted this.
Insomniac dev calls negativity around Marvel's Wolverine an onslaught on mental health.
Saying, I think the wild way this algorithm amplifies and forces negativity upon you has me reconsidering my philosophy of telling devs to look or post here. It is a relentless onslaught that I cannot believe is good for anyone's mental health, nor representative.
You know, the algorithm is based on what you engage with. You can train the algorithm to show you what you want. And if you're seeing only negativity, it's because you're a negative person. Just saying.
A relentless
Or you can just go to your notifications to see what's up from people you actually follow. And that's all you'll see.
onslaught. It's a really intense word to use, so I went and looked for this onslaught, braced myself a little, and it's Ben 10. People are making jokes about this game, reminding
Honestly, that's just funny. I mean, this is a boss fight that we've done like 1,000 dadgum times over the years. Because like, there's so many games that just copy this exact same formula for a giant boss fight because it's easier than actually trying to make a giant boss that you can fight. Uh, I remember, I feel like Genshin Impact was the last time I did that. What was it Tartaglia had a giant robot that was just doing that?
Them of Ben 10, and that a chase sequence leaves a little red streak behind Sabretooth when he runs, so the modern audience doesn't get lost, and overall just a fair amount of memes about how they don't think this game looks
Marvel's Wolverine's execs are not happy about relentless criticism. He didn't say onslaught. It doesn't count if you don't say onslaught.
very good. And then the rest of it, the part that isn't memes, is just people having opinions about the game itself. Really unappealing character designs, which in some
To be fair, okay, this looks unappealing, but also, frankly, it looks amazing. If they had got him right, like all the details, absolutely phenomenal. Like they even have like a little patch of like different colored skin up here. Frankly, impressive. I can see his pores. This is impressive, but he looks awful.
Insomniac seems to take genuine pride in the cheesy
The crap is this? Oh, that looks awful. Oh, that does look awful.
dialogue, the fact that what has been shown
That's Mystique? I've heard people talking about Mystique not looking good. Honestly, the hair. I love the hair physics. They've nailed the hair. Like, that looks like such real hair. I'm sorry. I like hair. This is very important to me. And, like, I always notice, like, hair physics in games and stuff first. But, like, yeah, her face is kind of... It's off. It feels off.
looks like the same generic Sony movie game formula that we've been handed for the better part of a decade. Gameplay and boss fights that have been done for years, and of course, Sweet Baby Ink being involved, which at this point, most people can probably spot from space. None of that is an onslaught. That is just a reaction to marketing for a product you are getting ready to release to the public. But like clockwork, the journalists have
After playing 2 hours of Marvel's Wolverine, Insomniac has crushed my fears of a post-Spider-Man slump. This is uniquely Logan. Yeah, I don't think... Like, if I was making a game, I wouldn't want to try and, like, slide by with, like, other heroes coming in just to try and save the game. You need to focus on making that character someone that they like and not be like, oh, look at this cameo.
shown up to defend the game from the evil Chud discourse, claiming that this game is yet another victim of the internet's endless gaming negativity. A victim? A $70 game with a multi-million-dollar budget backed by Sony is a victim.
Those poor millionaires. Guys, can we get 07s in the chat for the millionaires?
Because people looked at what has been shown off and they have not been impressed. That is the framing that we are now going with, not, hey, I don't know, here's why we think you'll love this game. No, the game is a victim, and you're kind of a jerk, actually, if you're not gushing with excitement, ready to hand
Yeah, you're paying for the game, but you should not have a say in it. You clearly don't know what you're talking about.
over your hard-earned cash. What's even crazier, though, is that this is Wolverine, one of the most beloved characters in comics, and getting the opportunity to work on a Marvel game like this should be a massive privilege. You have the opportunity to work with one of the most recognizable
This is an easy slam dunk. I don't know how you mess this up.
characters on the entire planet. 50-something years of comics, the movies, the cartoons, whole generations of people who have grown up with this character. But just like with Spider-Man, if you do him a disservice, of course, people are going to notice. If he suspiciously looks like a kinder version of that kid from Jumanji for some reason,
What is this reference? I did not pick up on the... Oh my gosh, she got me. Like, this is so good.
people are going to notice. But even with that being said, the bar for this game was never to go do something impossible. If Insomniac just had their head on straight, the bar was supposed to be go do the thing you already know how to do. I really loved the 2018 Spider-Man, and I thought they did a great job with that game, but they have just not been able to get back there. Either way, gamers are not here to protect a studio's feelings. We are the customer, and it is their job to sell us the game. People making jokes and criticizing creative decisions is not harassment, and what is so funny to me is how fast the blame comes and how familiar it all feels every single time. We saw it with Assassin's Creed Shadows, which said it was a battle that they fought and won. There was the Highguard dev who deleted his statements and his account twice. And now it is Insomniac with Wolverine. It is the same with 3 steps every single time. The game gets shown off, or in Highguard's case, gets blasted to the heavens by Jeff Keighley.
That was Jeff's fault. He kind of overhyped it. He put it at the end of the show, like the most expensive slot, and he did it for free. Frankly, he set that thing up to fail.
People say what they think about it, sometimes very bluntly because it is the internet, and then instead of anybody in the studio going, huh, that is an awful lot of people saying the same specific thing, the response that comes back is that the audience is the worst. The audience is attacking us, the gamers are bullies, it is all a coordinated
Yeah, the consumer's not allowed to have an opinion.
attack, and they are always the victims, which, if we just look at the balance of power in this specific situation, on one side you have got Sony, a billion-dollar publishing arm, 50 years of Marvel, and the games press right in your defense before the game is even out. On the other side, a guy who made a Ben 10 joke. But yes, it is gamers that
Honestly, it's an honor to be Ben 10. That was a great show.
are the Avengers level threat. But speaking of assembling, let's talk about Halo and how somehow they managed
Here we go. Something I actually give a crap about.
to make every possible mistake a Western AAA studio could make. Now, I was never a huge Halo person. I knew what it was, obviously.
I was a huge Halo person. First one, I have an ungodly amount of hours in the first, like, 2 and 3. I'm trying to remember, like, which one I played the most online. Like, I was never into online play against other people. World of Warcraft, but I never PvP'd. But Halo was just so much fun that it changed me around. It opened my eyes to PvP being fun. Even though I'm not really a competitive person, so I wasn't in there to win. I would always do like big team battle. That way I can just like have everybody else killing each other. And like my teammates can win it for me while I was goofing off. I just like sniping. That's basically all I like doing. But I loved the campaigns. I put so many hours into the campaigns, and even with my friends. I remember I went through Halo 2 or 3 with my friend. You might have seen me play Marvel Rivals with him one time. I don't remember what He Who Laughs, I think his name was online, but he wanted to play on the highest difficulty, what was like legendary or something like that. And he's the type of person who like goes in guns blazing. So when we did that, he's like, okay, you wait in the hall. That way, if I die, and by if, he meant when he died, he would run in there, start shooting up the place. Sometimes he actually did clear the place without dying, and frankly, that was pretty impressive. But a lot of times he would also die and then respawn in the hallway. He's like, okay, I'm going back in. And I would just hang out there. It was just so much fun just playing with him, just doing that, even if I didn't do anything. Because I don't need to do anything to have fun in the game. And Halo 2, I actually played Halo 2 2 weeks before it came out. I was living with this guy. I'm not going to use his real name. I'm trying to remember what he went by. What was his gamer tag that he went by? It started with an S. I don't remember what it is. But like he was very into, let's say, playing things through not necessarily legal means. So 2 weeks before Halo 2 came out, he had a copy of Halo 2 downloaded. And we played that. We played that the whole 2 weeks leading up to the game. And weirdly enough, it was in French. We did not understand it, but it had English subtitles, which I appreciated. And I remember that there was a Hispanic guy in it. So there was this Hispanic guy speaking Spanish. No, it was speaking French with a Spanish accent. It was really trippy and weird to hear, but like there was English subtitles with it. It was freaking weird, and it was honestly like the most memorable part of the entire story. That's why I remember it, and I don't remember a whole lot else. But we played it for 2 weeks up until the game launched, and then we still bought the game because we loved it so much, and like just blasted through. All 3 of us blasted through. Also, my friend He Who Laughs was there too because he's over at my house a lot. He did not like being at his house a whole bunch of different reasons, and my house is always a safe haven for my friends because I love hanging out with my friends. So we blasted through the campaign, and then we just started playing PvP. Oh, God. It was so much fun. We didn't have a lot of responsibilities. One of us had a job. I'm not going to say which one.
but it was never my thing. It was my older brother's thing, and it was my husband's thing before I ever knew him. The whole LAN party era, I was a bit too young and
Oh, God, good times, man.
much more interested in playing Zelda to care about any of that. But Halo is one of the most recognizable IPs in all of gaming. I would honestly argue it is Star Wars tier, and even if you've never played it, it is the game that your friend's older brother had, and it is the reason an entire generation of people know what a warthog is. So, watching what has happened to it after all these years is
I mean, a chupacabra? Chupa thingy.
genuinely very sad to see. Halo Studios, which was 343 Industries for most of this, has been making Halo for almost 19 years. Almost 2 decades of one studio basically doing one thing, which is what makes the reporting on campaign
And somehow they cannot manage to get anything right since like Halo 4.
evolved so hard for me to wrap my head around. An article came out recently detailing an allegedly pretty rough development cycle. Things like not even realizing that assets would clearly need to be rebuilt for this remake, building in abstraction for technical work and level design across the campaign, which then reportedly fell apart. And again, this is a game that has been around for 25 years, and the studio that has spent 19 years doing nothing but trying to make Halo good again and failing hired another.
How do you? It's all you're just remaking the original games. It's so easy. It's the easiest. It's easier layup than a Wolverine game. You just have to remake somebody else's work to look a little nicer. That's all you had to do, and you would have made money.
Studio to design Halo levels. And underneath all of it, the studio head reportedly promoted people into leadership roles they were not even equipped for, leading to even
That sounds about right. That actually sounds a whole lot of right.
more awful mismanagement.
Hope Asha fired a whole bunch of them.
And then what happened when the game came out and actually reached players? Low numbers across Steam and PlayStation, mixed Steam reviews sitting in the low 60s, a 5.2 user score, the lowest.
Hold on, does Steam reviews have like a number count on them? I don't see it. Hold on, let's look up Halo. Didn't even realize that it was on the Steam store. You think they would have like kept it Xbox exclusive to help sell games? Halo campaign evolved. Bloop. Mixed English reviews. Oh, dude. Okay, well, it's not just English. Cool, that's great. 60% of the reviews in the last 30 days are positive. 62% in the last 30 days are positive? Why is it mixed? How can... I don't know. I feel like it should be like slightly above mixed. And why are so many of them positive if they didn't like the game? Okay, something fishy.
5.2 user score, the lowest launch player count in the series history, and complaints about basically everything. The new missions, the cringy dialogue, the insufferable masculine girl boss, the
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about her.
enemy AI, bugs, no multiplayer, even the AI angel herself, Cortana. They Germa'd her.
Hey, you guys see that? Where they put Germa into Cortana and it's just his face?
It is like somebody printed out the entire list of things that you are not supposed to do to a beloved franchise or, you know, just to a game in general, and then ran it start to finish without skipping a single one. And the parts that Halo Studios actually added themselves, the pieces that were uniquely theirs, the new missions, ended up being some of the most criticized things in the whole release. What is so crazy to me is that this should have been the safest assignment imaginable. This story already exists, the characters already exist, the levels exist.
That's what I'm saying.
The game already worked and was extremely beloved by an enormous amount of people. You are remaking Halo, and it still turned into a case study of mismanagement, creative disconnect, lack of skill, followed a week or two after.
Hit by Leia. Good. I don't like seeing anybody lose their job, but if they're bad at their job, they should not have it.
After launch by layoffs, which we didn't even find out about through corporate announcement, by the way. We found out because people started posting it on LinkedIn. One of the devs wrote that after 6.5 years on Halo and dodging just as many rounds of layoffs, it had finally caught up with him.
Well, can't live forever.
Another dev wrote that his time there ended following the successful launch of the latest game. Successful. Right. And while it is hard to grasp, I do think that there is a real chance that these people believe the things that they are saying. Probably.
Hold on.
Believe.
Every player has a game they'll never forget. That's why I chose this career. I want to help create games that bring smiles to players and create memories they'll carry with them for years. That's what drives me. Today I learned my time at Halo Studios would be coming to an end following the successful launch of our latest game, Halo Campagna Evolved. I know this is one of the most challenging job markets our industry has ever seen, and I know the road ahead won't be easy, but I'm not done, and my purpose has not changed. Interesting how every player has a game they'll never forget, and that's why they chose the career. However, they did not mention the game they'll never forget. Interesting. Almost like this person isn't a gamer. Just wanted to make something that people wouldn't forget, but didn't actually have a game they remembered.
Successful. Right. And while it is hard to grasp, I do think that there is a real chance that these people believe the things that they are saying. Probably because this is the language that was being used around them the entire time. That is the only feedback they got. That is what was shared in the company meetings. That was what everybody in the building had already agreed upon that the launch would look like. But
they gathered in a circle and painted each other's faces, took off all their clothes, danced around a bonfire, and repeated the same things to each other. You're worth it. You deserve all this money, even though you're not making a product yet. You deserve to change one of the greatest games in history because you're smarter.
But if your definition of success can include the lowest launch player count in Halo history, a 5.2 user score at best, mixed reviews, and layoffs 2 weeks later, I don't know what to say. I did not have high expectations for Ubisoft's Black Flag remake, and even they still ended up performing so much better than this game.
Yeah, I heard mixed things about it, but honestly, most of it was Black Flag was actually fun to play. It looked a lot better than it used to. If you're just remaking an old game, I don't know how you can screw that up. You're just making it prettier.
And a not so fun fact to close this section out, both studios that have ever touched this franchise, Bungie and Halo Studios, had layoffs 6 weeks apart, all during Halo's 25th anniversary year, which is a pretty bleak way to celebrate a legacy. And speaking of bleak celebration,
have a birthday, get out.
Let's go to a parking lot in Rockville, Maryland. After all the layoffs and the protests that took place last month.
Oh, are we going to show the guy with the hammer and sickle communist tattoo on his neck? Yay!
I honestly thought that we would get a little quiet out of Bethesda. We did not. Because on August 11th, Xbox leadership came out to visit Bethesda Game Studios, and Asha Sharma was there to see the current build of Elder.
Our queen, Asha, bringing the axe down on the people who are unworthy.
Elder Scrolls 6. The Bethesda workers there knew that she was coming, so to welcome her, the protesters put up posters outside of their cubicles, which management then told them they had to take down, or at least flip around. So the employees then switched to balloons, which is a weird escalation. Somebody sat there and thought about it and went, fine, they can take our posters. They are not taking our balloons.
What were the posters of that they couldn't keep up?
And then outside in the grass in front of the building, they planted 800 red flags, one for every worker that has been laid off since July.
You took the time to plant 800 red flags, and you couldn't realize that that in and of itself was a red flag of why you weren't keeping your jobs?
Of last year, and they brought out Scabby, who is a giant inflatable union rat.
Oh, okay. Were the posters not good posters? I'm starting to think they might have been middle fingers to Asha.
No existed until this happened. So Asha shows up to all of this, goes inside, looks at the game, and tweets out that the scale and grandeur of Elder Scrolls 6 are incredible. And she is right. That is a lot of grandeur. To which the Bethesda brand account replied, thanking her for the kind words and the wonderful visit. So the brand account is on X doing hospitality, while the staff is on the lawn with a rat. Bethesda, if you can hear me, you've got to
that feels like the exact same amount of progress they were already making. That's okay.
Wrangle in your union guys, because they are just having the opposite effect of what you probably want. Every time I see them pop up in headlines, I already know that they have just done something that is going to be completely dismissed by gamers.
Anything but make a game.
And more importantly, by Daddy Microsoft. But it is not just Bethesda. Since 2022, there have been over 45,000 layoffs in the gaming industry. The projection for this year alone is...
And yet we're still getting tons of games, and a lot of them not good.
Over 14,000. And you can look at a number like that on top of everything else that everyone's been hit with for the past few years and go, all right, that's it. gaming is dying. Except when you add all of them together, you see reportedly that 95% of those layoffs are happening in the West, with the majority of them in North America. Now, of course, overhiring and mismanagement is real. Corporate greed is very real. Unfortunately, I am sure very talented
14 layers of management is very real.
people have been swept up in these layoffs over the years, and there is a lack of job security in America. All of those things are playing a part here, but at what point can we also all be honest and say maybe the hiring practices we put into place and bragged about for the past 5 or 6 years have had a directly negative impact on the games we've been making? Maybe building teams around DEI targets, ESG goals, ideological fit, social politics, or really anything other than who is actually the best person for the job, who understands what it is we're making, and who genuinely wants to be here is contributing to the unsuccessful launches and cycles of layoffs. It is no secret that there is this environment of toxic
Okay, real talk, the Oblivion remaster, while it was fun, I also eventually just got bored, and it didn't help that immediately after that I got stuck in a DLC area that wouldn't let me leave until I finished the DLC, and I hated that because I didn't want to do the DLC. I wanted to do the quest I was already doing, and I didn't know how long it was going to take, and I didn't want to play anymore. It was not worth going back in there to do something I didn't want to do to get something I did want to do.
HR positivity, especially inside Western AAA, and a lot of it comes from the top down. You are completely surrounded by it. I mean, if you were working at Bethesda, you can quite literally be standing next to a guy with an actual communist tattoo on his neck.
Yeah, there he is. There was a leftist with a communist neck tattoo who got to walk into Bethesda Studios and come out with a job while you were worried about being too right-winged around your colleagues.
And I am not saying that to attack him personally. I bring it up because it tells you something about the kind of ideological environment we are talking about here. What do you think the priorities are when that team is hiring? What does internal feedback even look like in an environment like that? Something like, comrade, respectfully, your quest is buns. I am joking, obviously.
That was probably the most PG way you could have said that.
We all know that there is no real feedback happening inside these companies, which makes me wonder
The
what these
feedback is a
companies
loop
are really
of
taking away
toxic
from any of this
positivity.
discourse. Because at the exact same time we are seeing Wolverine, Halo, and Bethesda flounder and lose their audience support, we are watching smaller studios and independent developers put out games that reach absolutely ridiculous
And that's why I started Baldur's Gate 3 on Friday. And frankly, it's a really nice game.
levels of success, games that in some cases are putting productions with hundreds of millions of dollars behind them to shame. And it is not because those developers necessarily had it easy. Pocket Bear has dealt with enormous
Yeah, power! Let's freaking go!
public pressure, harassment, and an entire population of Pokemon zealots preying on their downfall. Both Larian
Didn't
and
help.
Obscure got dragged into witch hunts over AI. These studios have dealt with
Didn't hurt.
criticism, controversy, and accusations, but did they turn around and start fighting with their own audience base? Did we get corporate statements about the onslaught of opinions and memes and what it was doing to everybody's mental health?
Nope.
No. Now, again,
just
I
made
am
good
not
games.
trying to make all of this sound like doom and gloom, because despite everything I have just spent this entire video saying, I really do think we are just starting to see a correction that was probably always going to come. This current version of Western AAA has survived for way too long. These companies have had decades of customer goodwill behind them, enormous franchises that people were emotionally attached to, and enough money in the bank to insulate themselves from bad decisions.
You had money and nostalgia on your side. You still couldn't pull in the win. Embarrassing.
For years and years. They could lose people, disappoint people, release something mediocre, promise that the next one would be better, and there was always enough goodwill left over to keep the machine moving, but things are finally correcting. The year of the Chud is bringing us more and more into balance with every passing day. To be honest, Bethesda is really what inspired this entire video in the first place, all because of one protester, shocked by the layoffs, saying, I have been told Bethesda makes great games people love. And that line has stuck with me for weeks now because I don't necessarily think that person was lying. I think the sadder possibility is that they meant it completely. Because if everyone around you says you're doing great and that the game
But what game did they make? Are any of these people responsible for any of the games that came out? and which one were they responsible for, and what part of that game did they make? Because I'm pretty sure none of these people have made anything we give a crap about.
Game you're working on is great, and the journalists tell you is important, and the consultants tell you that it's inclusive, the internal metrics say engagement is promising, the awards show tell you that what you're doing is brave. Eventually, the only person left telling you something is very wrong is your customer. And eventually, if those customers continue to be the only people telling you something is wrong, you start to see them as the enemy. You can call something a successful
Doesn't matter if the customer is your enemy. We have the money. You need it.
launch. You can describe memes and gaming opinions as an onslaught that is terrible for your mental health. You can insist people still love your games, even when you haven't actually given them a game that they've asked for in over a decade. Even if all of those things feel completely true inside the room where you're saying them, it does not make them true in reality. It does not make them true in player reviews. It does not make them true in player counts or copies sold. And it does not make them true in the discourse in social media.
That's true.
All of those things will always be based in reality, and it is about time some of these studios finally join us there.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of people need to start living in reality because so many people are stuck in their little fantasies and they assume that everyone outside of their fantasy is living the wrong life. When really, we're just out here living in reality, trying to get by, trying to make our way. And your fantasy is all nice and good, but you got to step out that bubble at some point. Otherwise, when it bursts, you're not going to know how to handle it.
If you made it to the end of this video,
We
thank
did.
you so much for being here. I would love to know what you think about all of this, and what I said at the beginning is true.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind giving this game another shot. I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale though, and I wouldn't mind giving Starfield another go because, like, as boring as it is, I had fun when I was doing my own thing, and I had like 40 hours of fun doing that. So if I can get that game for like around $20, I feel like that was $20 worth of fun that I had to make myself.
By the way, I really am trying to be more consistent with uploads, and I really appreciate
Aren't
your
we
patience
all,
because
brother?
I know I have been coming and going. I never want to be someone who is yapping for the sake of yapping, you know? There should always be some kind of purpose behind the yap, and sometimes that means I sit on something probably longer than I should because I'm still figuring out what I want to say, but I am working on it, I promise. And
We love to hear you yap, and if it's not from the heart, it's not background NPC.
as always, you guys are the main characters here. I am just so grateful to be your background NPC. So thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one.
Bye! Guys, that was background NPC. We love her. She's a delight. She's catty, but in a PG-13 way. Oh, guys, let me know down below which one of these games broke your heart, is breaking your heart the most, or broke your heart the most. It might not have come out yet. It might have already came out and done the job. You know, a little sucker punch right in the hoo-ha. It's a tough time to be a gamer. Well, at least be an old gamer. If you're a newer gamer, then you don't really have as much nostalgia for a lot of these franchises. So, the misses don't miss as much. It's rough seeing what Halo fell down to, and all the things that Sony's doing and Nintendo is doing. And honestly, the only hope I have is for indies and Asha. She's doing a really good job at Xbox. I feel like she could actually bring it back. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Stay safe, stay hydrated. Thanks for hanging out with me, and TTFN, ta-ta for now. Mwah. Love and nachos, baby bears.